Okay, I have a 2006 f350 here, and I'm just going to be showing you how to locate your keypad code location. Okay, so we're here on the inside, and you'll notice that I've got some stuff removed. Now, there are other ways that I've seen people have been able to get to this code. However, I was having trouble understanding exactly where it was because you just can't hardly see what's going on. If you try to come underneath, you can take like this out, you can take this panel. I've seen people coming from under here. I wasn't able to get into position, so it wasn't a lot of trouble to take out this piece you see here. It just simply pops out of there. Now you do have some connections. You got a couple of connections over here that you have to unhook from your switch, and there's also the radio. You've got a few connections there to be able to pull the radio out, but that's pretty much all I removed. Is I got this piece popped out, took it loose here, and took it down, and that could be enough without simply removing the whole thing, but it was just easier to get it out of the way. And instead of removing every one of these connections, I just removed the screws and just took it loose and just got it hanging there. And like I said, the radio, you just got 4 screws. And mine's an aftermarket, but yours will probably be similar. Just got the 4 screws there. But anyways, if you come back here, and even with all this out, it's not real easy to get to this. And you can see, like, you'll locate that bar right there, and you'll look below it, and you'll pull this insulation all out of the way, and you can see that gray and that green connector right there. That is the keyless entry box. Like I said, this is a 2006 f350. I don't know that they're all the same, but that's where this one's at, and it's, you know, fastened back there by some means, so it's not just going to come down where you can look at it. So what you'll need is to get you a mirror, and I just simply used this little thing right here, and you can get back in there and just go underneath, and you're able to get those numbers. So I was able to do that. It wasn't too bad because you just can't really get in there to see, and I couldn't get underneath to see. So coming through this radio and getting you a mirror, like I said, and looking right up above there on that box, the number's it's going to be a 5-digit code, 5 numbers on that box right there. Unless somebody's removed it, you should have those numbers. So again, if you come, you know, your radio is going to be right here. You take the radio out, or you got this out of the way, and you locate that bar support. You'll see the 2 tabs. You'll pull that insulation, and right there with the gray, the green connector, or whatever, you'll see 2 connectors hooking into that box right there, and that's your keyless entry box, and you should have 5 numbers located on that box. So, you know, it saves you the money having to go and to the dealer or wherever to get the code. So, and it's nice to have no worries. If you do lock your keys in or whatever, you can use that keypad code, because, you know, the way I say, there's no sense in having it if you can't use it and you don't have the code. So that's where it's located on this. It's probably going to be similar on most of these years. I don't know, but like I said, I got online and had searched, and I couldn't make really heads or tails of where it was, and it wasn't until I located it myself that it made sense as to where it was. So I was looking all over. It wasn't even for sure if I was, you know, on a wild goose chase, and it wasn't even going to be there. So, but once I, you know, got the radio and everything out, I was able to get in there and figure out where it was. And it's actually farther back than what I thought it was by looking at, you know, Googling and everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this stuff back together, and I'll just show you how I'm going to put everything back. That way you can kind of get an idea of what you have to remove here. So like I said, it's really not a whole lot. Okay, so the first thing I've done, just put these 7mm, there's 4 of them, back into our radio here. Okay, now right here we're just putting these 7/32 headed screws. There's 4 of them holding this climate. And like I said, you could disconnect these. I just don't like to mess with these connectors like this. It seems like they want to break, so if I can avoid taking them loose, because like I said, you got to take the vacuum lines, you got to take all 4 of those connectors. I just decided to take the 4 screws out. Okay, and with that, we've got just a couple of connectors over here. Got our cigarette lighter. We'll just press that back into place. And then we got this little connector. We'll just push it back in there. And you'll notice all of these little white tabs around here. You know, those just pop right into there. So, and I did do the connections on that radio. I don't know if I mentioned that, but before I screwed that down. Now the only thing that we got over here is this, and I actually removed this whole thing from the back. You can't do it from the front side. You have to do it once you have the piece off. But we're going to get these connections here made as well, and we should have enough slack to get to that. So we'll just make sure we got everything connected here, and with our radio and everything's working, and we'll go ahead and snap this back into place. Okay, now you notice I do have my shifter down, and I'm just sliding it carefully in, getting this in here. And I'm going to get my connectors back through here. So you can make this connection without taking that piece out. Okay, and there that is back on there. So the only piece I've got to connect is this piece, and I had made a mistake of pulling on this a little bit when I was taking it out, so I'm going to have to glue this because I got this piece loose. So that's the only piece I got out. I've left it out for a reason. But like I said, other than, you know, this is not too hard to pop out. You just drop your shifter down, and the radio, you know, you can take this off. You could just drop that down without having to remove this piece. Just kind of get it down out of the way and then take your radio out. It was just, at the time I wasn't for sure where I was looking, so I had to get up in there and dig around to figure it out. So I just kind of took it all out of the way and just found that it made it a little bit easier. So that's it. You know, this just pops out of there, and then you just make you disconnect your connections there. So like I said, hopefully that can be helpful in locating that. So anyways, thank y'all for watching.